I know you've heard it said, we are all on a journey. And you heard it said that we're not physical beings on a spiritual journey. We are actually spiritual beings on a physical journey. Everything we do in our lives are part of that journey. Every person we meet is part of that journey. There are people who help us along the journey, and there are those who try to trip us up along the way. Either way, there are people who we meet along that journey. We are not alone. Now, watch the series on Formed, and if you haven't signed in to Form, you need to go on our website and look it up. It's a wonderful site, a website for good Catholic teachings and good Catholic movies. It's worth your while to get onto there. Well, anyway, this series is called The Search, and it's by the Augustine Institute. It's a wonderful series that has us question what we are really searching for in life. And we all are searching in life. And in life, we all get those mountaintop experiences. And we want to stay there in those real life experiences. But in real life, those experiences are really short-lived. And we keep searching for that experience again. But as wonderful as those mountaintop experiences are, there are everyday things that are even more life-giving and satisfying. Think about it. Every breath we take is an amazing gift from God, but we take it for granted. We have a limited number of breaths we will take in our life, but we will never stop to think of it. The next one, is it going to be our last one? We just take it for granted that the next breath will come. We don't search for it, it just comes. A breath is something we should celebrate, but it just becomes part of our expected daily living. We don't have to search for it, it is just there. Kind of like the graces of God. They are there and we need them to survive spiritually and physically. But do we really realize they are there and we celebrate them each day, each grace that God has given us? We get so wrapped up in our busyness of our lives that we forget to seek the real meaning of life, the small things that make up life, like why are we here? What is our purpose? What is it we are longing for in our hearts that needs to be satisfied? So the question is, what are we truly searching for? Now, we all have a beginning date and an ending date. We all die. No one gets out of this life alive. We all wound up 6 feet under with a slate of granite on top. No matter how important you are or how insignificant you are, we all wind up the same. Now, the slate of granite, your tombstone, will have a beginning date and an ending date on it. And as important as those dates may seem, it is what is in between those dates that really matters. It is the most overlooked part of the tombstone. It is that dash between your start and end date that matters the most. That is your life. That dash is your journey. You are living that dash right now. So what are you looking for? And what are you searching for is what will formulate what your dash or your journey will look like in the end. It is so sad that some are so distracted during their journey that they never stop to wonder what this life, this journey is really about. What are you searching for during your journey? Is it money, pleasure, great-looking body, a great job? What drives your dash in your life? Now, all those things are good, but what we're really searching for in life is happiness. Those things may bring you happiness, but it will be short-lived. Just like that mountaintop experience, you will still have a hole in your heart that will need to be filled. And that hole can only be filled with true happiness, the happiness of doing God's will in your life's journey. I want to share a personal story of a journey that began when I was around 12 years old. My cousin and I used to go to the Knights of Columbus summer camp at Camp Abbey in Covington. Well, we, like all the other campers, roamed the grounds searching for unique adventures in the woods and the creeks that surrounded the camp. One adventure we started on was across an old iron bridge that went across a creek. We heard that that road led to a monastery where the monks lived. We started on that journey, not knowing for sure what lied ahead. We started many times to make that 2-mile trip through the woods and across the fields. For one reason or another, we chickened out and never completed that journey. Now fast forward 45 years to May of 2009. I'm on my diaconate retreat right before my ordination, and I'm at the monastery eating and praying with those same monks that I was seeking 45 years earlier. I was now on that other end of that 2-mile trek that I never finished in my youth. Well, I happened to mention that to one of my fellow candidates, and he suggested we try it again. So he and I started that walk. This time, the journey was started from the opposite direction of my childhood. This time we were going from the monastery to the campground. Well, we got halfway and realized we hadn't allotted enough time to make such a journey. So once again, I aborted that journey. The next day, we mentioned it to a few others at the retreat. Then 4 of us started that journey. My quest became the goal of the 4 of us. Why they came along, I don't know. Maybe for some exercise, maybe for their own curiosity. Maybe it was just for support. I don't know why, but I do know with the help of these dedicated men, I completed the journey I started at the age of 12. Once there at the Abbey camp, we visited the old cafeteria and the camp chapel. And the 45 years of memories and stories became fresh in my mind. So why do I share this story with you? Because I think it relates to our own journeys in life. You see, I completed the journey from a different starting point. I didn't complete it when I wanted to, and I didn't complete it with those I started it with. So it is when we allow ourselves to be open to what God has planned for our journey, our lives. It probably won't start as we planned, with those who we thought would be good company, and most likely not in our timeline. But be assured God's plan for our journey in life is much better than any we could ever imagine. And look at our first reading. Do you think Eliakim had any plans in his life to become what God had planned for him? We're not sure if he even had the talents to do the job God destined him to do. But he opened himself up to God's calling and what God had planned for his life. And so it is with us. You've heard the phrase, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. So our plans aren't God's plans, but be assured his plan is much better. And opening ourselves up to his plan guarantees an experience we have never imagined, and a plan that we couldn't have accomplished without him, and with skills we never thought we had. Then look at our gospel. Simon was probably very comfortable being a fisherman. His goal in life may have been to be a great fisherman. His journey in life probably didn't include anything but fishing and providing for his family. Then came Jesus. Not only did he interrupt Simon's journey, Simon's goals in life, but Jesus changed his occupation, his purpose, and his name. Not only that, Jesus put Peter in charge of the church he left behind. I'm sure Peter had no plan on taking on such a challenge, and I'm sure he didn't feel qualified to accomplish what Jesus was asking him to do. But Peter changed his focus in life. He changed his journey. He changed his name. And he greatly altered his dash between the beginning and end date. And upon that rock, that Peter, Christ built our church. So I ask, is God calling you to a different journey? Are we open to change if he did call us to another path in life? And what will our dash be like when we reach that end date? Our second reading says it all. On the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God, how inscrutable are his judgments and how unsearchable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor, or who has given the Lord anything that he may be repaid? For from him, through him, and for him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. There's another personal journey story I'd like to share with you. 25 years ago, my wife Karen and I were comfortable in our Laplace, Louisiana house with our 6 kids, our jobs, our life. Then God called us here to the Mississippi Gulf Coast in Our Lady of the Gulf Parish. We didn't know why he called us or what lied ahead of us. We just followed what we now know was a spiritual awakening in us, a chance for us to grow in faith, a chance that we might not have known in our hometown. We have grown so much here and we have learned so much here. We have made friends and we have been blessed abundantly while being here. Well, once again, we feel God calling us to fulfill a dream, a goal we've always wanted. We have always said our goal in life was to grow old and enjoy our grandchildren. We've done a good job on the growing old part. Now it's time for us to enjoy our grandchildren. Well, that time has come and God has heard us and is blessing us with a chance to live that out. As many of you may already know, Karen and I will be leaving Our Lady of the Gulf family next weekend, moving to Louisiana to spend time with our children and grandchildren, and we will miss you all dearly. God has opened the doors for this to happen, and we don't know what the rest of our dash will look like, but we know it will hopefully be with God as our guide. Our prayers will be with you always, and you will always be in our hearts. Now for the stick. This is the actual walking stick that one of my fellow deacons gave me to make that 2-mile trip to the Abbey. A stick to keep me steady, a stick to brush away the thorn bushes, a stick of assurance. We all need a stick on our journey, a stick to protect us and give us confidence to continue on. And hopefully you will find that the Holy Spirit is the best walking stick you could have on your journey. Take him wherever you go and lean on him often. Now, when I put this stick in the trunk to take it home, one of my fellow deacons stated, "What are you doing with that stick?" I said to my friend, "My friend, you may see a stick. I see a homily. So there you have it. 11 years after that journey, the story has finally been told. So God bless you all on your journey in life, and we hope that you find what you are searching for. God bless.